Hello and what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel. You're watching Miguel EDC, the channel where we talk everything EDC gear here. And today we're checking out the Wurkkos HD03. Right, this is interesting. Will be a blue model here, 6,000 to 6,500K. We got 680 lumens, 180 meters beam here, reach distance, multicolor RGB lights, and 40-gram lightweight. So this one should be one of their very EDC friendly flashlights. We got specs here. We're going to go through it here during the video. Of course, these will all be linked down below. Every product, including this Rivery Zero, made here in the US, milled titanium, very nice and fidgety, magnetic utility blade. So here we go, bam. See what the unboxing experience is all about. Got the screen tab, pull on it, take this guy out here. This one's in the blue color. I know they have many different colors, like green as well, orange, which again, they do a very good job with. So there is the light. We'll get to that here in just a moment. Also in the packaging here, we got a lanyard solution. Let's take a closer look at that. There we go. All right, this is pretty hardcore, right? It's already kind of threaded here. Got this system here to mount on to the flashlight. Of course, we got a USB-C. Nice short cable here, USB-C to USB-C charging. Love to see that. And of course, we got our user manual here. Yeah, a little bit on the thick side, so we'll keep this guy handy here in case we need to reference it at any time. But let's make some room here, shall we? And find out what the HD03 is all about. For starters, right, this one has a very interesting sort of build, right? So it's got this clip in the back. The clip is nice and rubberized also, right? And again, not crazy tension, so it's not like destroying my finger there or anything, but just enough to kind of work and not just accidentally tap there the power button perhaps. We got a charging here, right, port, USB-C. Right? Obviously, we got that USB-C cable we looked at. This is all aluminum, by the way, so it feels nice and cool to the touch here. And it's going to help with heat dissipation, of course. We got this little lever here, right? We can go from maybe low beam to high beam. It's what I'm assuming, right? Again, we're just being intuitive here. So, and then we have the power button on this side. The circumference here around the light itself is gray. So that's an interesting touch. Maybe they wanted it to pop a little bit from the blue or whatever the color of the body is. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's see what's going on here. I'm going to press and hold. All right, this makes a lot of sense right now, right? So I can turn it on and I have the circular LEDs going around it here. This is going to be my floodlight. And then I have my, if I go to this guy, this is going to be a spotlight right in the center there. I'm trying not to aim it at my eyes because I just went blind there a second ago. So we got that going. Hey guys, really quick, I just posted a video for the 35K subscriber giveaway. I'm giving away 15 different knives, so I'll have a link to that video in the description and pinned comments. Thank you all so much for this amazing growth. 35,000 subscribers is an amazing number. Hopefully we can get to 50K by the end of the year. Check out the video, get entered to win, and best of luck to everybody. Oh man, this is getting pretty bright, guys. All right, so we start right here. I'm assuming this one is, we got a moonlight, low, medium, high, and turbo. So we got, starting here, this is probably low. Press and hold, that's medium. This is high. That looks probably like turbo right there. And then back to low, okay? So again, that's interesting. We could do the same thing here with the opposite mode. If we switch it around with this guy, we can do press and hold, press and hold, press and hold, and back to low mode. So for reference, it seems like the both the spotlight and the floodlight have different settings. So I'm going to go with this guy. Low mode is going to be 20 lumens on spotlight, 15 lumens on the low light. As far as medium goes, 110 lumens on spotlight, 75 lumens on floodlight. So this is probably the more powerful one. Obviously the LED in the middle as compared to the LEDs on the outside. High mode, we're looking at 320 lumens on the spotlight and 150 on the floodlight. And last but not least, turbo is 680 lumens, which is the maximum on this guy. You can feel a little toasty temperature right here. And 320 lumens on the floodlight. Here are the specs, by the way, if you want to see as far as also runtime. You can see the runtime for each specific mode on there as well. So take a look. Just a couple of things really quick. I missed at the beginning here. We got this hole right here. That's for your lanyard. Mount the lanyard here like so. Let's just give it a demo here. All right, maybe not the first time. I want to say perhaps the lanyard, this clip here is a little bit thicker, right? Like I'm scratching the paint there a little bit. Might be a little bit thicker than the actual hole. So maybe there's like an angle or specific way to do it. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'm not much of a lanyard myself, but this is not rocket science. Putting this on should not be complicated in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, it just really comes down to probably the width, the thickness of this ring here. It's not enough for it to fit on here. So maybe they intend for you to mount it some other way, which necessarily wouldn't make sense. I know you can quickly attach this to your keys or mount it somewhere else, but why wouldn't it mount here? I'm not entirely sure. Right, that's about as far as we can get. So again, observations, that's why I'm doing this video for you. So you can see every detail of what's going on here with this knife. Flashlight. Can you tell we do a lot of knife videos in this channel? Right, get the two mixed up. The other thing too, the pocket clip is magnetic here, so we should be able to attach it to this Zippo lighter. As so, right, look at that. So that is hanging on right there. It's a little bit on the, I mean, it's strong enough, but when I say it's probably sticking over the aluminum. So I've seen a few other flashlights that have a little bit of a stronger magnet there. Again, observations, not a deal breaker, but it will attach to obviously a magnetic surface. Definitely has a magnet there, no doubt. By the way, we also have IPX6 water resistance, and we have about a drop resistant or shock impact of 1.5 meters on this bad boy, according to the box here. All right, check it out. We also have the popo mode, all right, or blue and red going on here. So RGB can be accessed from the off position. All you got to do is double click. And then I realized in order to change the color here, all you got to do is press and hold. It will switch to whatever color you want, right? It's actually cycling there through all the different colors available for RGB. Quick side note while we're here, I think when you turn this guy on for the first time, does give you like a status right here. This is a status light, so it will tell you kind of the battery, right? Battery life. If it's red, obviously probably draining and such, then you need a recharge. We can also double press while on RGB mode, and that will start the pulsing, right? This is called the strobe or beacon, and then you can choose whatever color. So say I wanted to do a beacon of let's turn it into, I don't know, pick a random color here. Sure, we'll go with this pink or purple, right? And then I want to make it a beacon. I will double click, and that is now a beacon. Again, this is one of those features that is nice to have, right? And not need, then need and not have. So if it's already something they can put in the package for you, why not, right? Why not have them do that for the same price? A lot of people often comment on my flashlight videos, oh my God, that flashlight is too complicated. I need a PhD to be able to figure out how it works. And I'm like, well, yes and no, because this is one of those things that, you know, it's kind of like once you figure it out, you know exactly how it works. Like we use smartphones and, you know, we use advanced tech these days compared to people from, you know, generations ago. So the fact that it has many features, it doesn't take away from the fact that it'll still work just like a regular flashlight, and all the other add-ons, right, are handy or will come handy if you need them. But if you don't need them, you should still use it as a flashlight, right? Spotlight and flashlight feature, right, like we talked about. So here's that blue and red again. And this one here is actually, I want to say, cycling through all the different colors. So you could press and hold at the beginning to choose a color of your own, or you could let it just cycle through its own. I'm going through a different RGB modes just by double clicking. All right, check this one out. Little party mode going on there. Again, guys, remember, nice to have and not need, then need and not have. So some of these things, you know, are a little bit maybe like a gimmick, if you would. But again, if it already comes with the flashlight, right, no big deal. All right, look at this one right there. All right, this one's like pulsating, fading in, fading out color. And this one goes the opposite way, but a little bit faster and also changing colors at the same time. You know, all those things that, you know, will definitely call attention, right? If you're trying to get someone to see you, something like this will come handy in a scenario like that. And we're back to that beacon mode. And then now I'm cycling through them. There you go, pretty straightforward. Again, one button UI, so that's about the only thing, right? You're using the same button with different functionality for different things. And by the way, just to be technical, right, let me just show here the user manual. If you guys want to pause at any point through any of these steps, you are more than welcome to. All right, you can see every single function of this guy, how it works, and everything else in between. And last but not least, this operational flow chart. A quick rapid fire size comparison here to give you some perspective. Here we have the Wuben E7, We got the Fenix E06R, the Wuben G5, the Wuben X4, and on the left-hand side, we got the very similar sort of approach there in the design. LoopGear LoopDot, the LoopGear SK03, and from Wurkkos, the HD01, which was the OG here in the channel. Again, this is the HD03, this is the HD01, and the TD04 from Wurkkos as well. Right? Hopefully that gives you a ballpark. I have content on all these flashlights here in the channel. All you gotta do is put the flashlight name Miguel EDC on the YouTube search box and you'll find those videos right away. And all linked down below, of course. All right, fam, we're out here with the Wurkkos light, and we're gonna do some quick switching here between the, there we go, this one is the floodlight, and then we have the mosquito trying to bite my hand. No, sir. Your boy's out here almost midnight trying to record this video for you all, so if that doesn't deserve a like on the video, I don't know what does. So we got the floodlight. Let's do the different modes on the, spotlight first. There we go. We're getting brighter, brighter, and that gets pretty bright. Like, check that out. At night, yeah, this thing can absolutely get some reach. Not going to get to those streets way over there, but it's absolutely going to eliminate quite a few hundred feet in front of you. No doubt, right? Up at the trees right here. Well, you can see you can definitely get some good light. Definitely that tree right there is getting some good light as well. And then if we switch over to the floodlight mode, right, that kind of changes a little bit. You can kind of cover an area, you know, don't get the most distance, but you cover the biggest area with obviously the floodlight. And by the way, if I sound funny, it's because I have my trays on, Invisalign trays. Just about getting ready to go to bed here. So yeah, I'm here recording this video for you all. Invisalign trays, in case you hear a lisp somewhere in there. You know exactly what that is. But yeah, definitely quite something here. Let's go ahead and again try to cycle through them one more time. And again, right now we are in flood mode. Bam, that's definitely an increase. Bam, and bam. All right, that is crazy. 1, 2, 3. We got a strobe mode. Switching over to the spotlight. Oh yeah, look at the difference there. Bam, boom. Right, spotlight, floodlight, spotlight, floodlight. All right, we can see it better, right? We can see more of the tree with the spotlight. We can illuminate more of an area with the floodlight. Right, that's the main difference there. And of course, we got the RGB right here, which again, not gonna be meant for illuminating much, but actually signaling from a distance. Yeah, you can definitely see that from afar, right? Especially in beacon mode, right? That's definitely going to give you, I'm just gonna try to park it right here. Maybe take a couple feet back. All right, look at this guy. I had this other guy right here just kind of illuminating and make sure I know what exactly I'm stepping on, but yeah, we can see this guy from quite a bit of distance here. And again, it's one of those features. It's nice to have and not need, then need and not have. You can actually change the beacon color on the fly here. I want a different color, let's say green. There we go, we can do green. Press and hold here, or we can do a blue. And again, the camera's not gonna do it justice. Switch over to a purple here, or pink. I think you get the idea there. And of course, all those other crazy modes that we already looked at. But really quick, one last time here for the light. Again, floodlight. And here we go, spotlight. All right, guys, you all be the judge. Let me know in the comments. Hope you guys really enjoyed this one. If you made it to the end, you're the real MVP. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one, either this one or this one. Peace.